Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. It's so hard to know that I have to bury my last child. Joy Jones is still struggling to come to terms with the loss of her daughter, who was one of two people who died in a motor vehicle crash in Clarendon on Tuesday. Heather Jones Grant, 34-year-old, and her brother-in-law Nigel Ambersley died as a result of injuries they received from the collision. Jones told reporters that she knew something was wrong the moment she heard a female scream. "I was on my way to pick up my grandson from school, and I called Heather, and we were there talking. She asked if I eat already, and I told her no, I don't eat anything yet. I am going to get the baby, and she said okay. While I was on the phone with her, I heard a female scream, and the phone cut off. After that, I tried to get the three phones, and they rang without answer," Jones recalled. She said her daughter and her husband left to go to Linstead St. Catherine to drop off her stepdaughter and her husband, who were both visiting the island, to spend time with their relatives. Several frantic attempts to reach her children yielded no result, so the word mother, desperate for answers, called her son overseas. "I called my son in Canada and told him that something went wrong and that I was trying to get them but no answer, and he said, 'I hope nothing is wrong.' He called several times, and then a lady answered and asked if he was a relative to the persons, and he said yes, and she said, 'It's not fatal.' But she did not say anything about the female and the other deceased," she told reporters. "Just as I walked into the yard, my phone rang, and a lady who I knew from a long time say, 'When was the last time you talked to your daughter?' And me say, 'Come on, tell me.' She then said, 'You're in a good shape.' And me say, 'Yes, me strong, because me know say something happened.' The woman then asked Jones where was her daughter headed, and she replied Linstead. She said, 'Well, they have an accident.' And me say, 'Me know,' Jones shared with reporters. She say, 'How you know?' And me say, 'I feel it. And based on the conversation with her and the scream, then I know something went wrong,' said Jones. The woman then told Jones that the females have been taken to the hospital, while the males who were in the front of the vehicle were pinned in the wreck and were badly injured. Jones said soon after that conversation, her other daughter called and confirmed her worst fear: her daughter died in the crash. According to police report, Grant and Ambersley, along with two other persons, were traveling in a Toyota Scarlet heading towards Maypen about 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, when the driver of the Nissan Latio attempted to overtake a line of traffic along the Osborne Main Road in Clarendon. The two vehicles collided, and all 5 people in the 2 cars were taken to the Maypen Hospital, where Grant and Ambersley died, and the others admitted in serious but stable condition. Jones described her daughter as very hardworking, honest, and kind individual. "She was everything you could ever hope for. The last thing she did before leaving home, she hugged me and gave me a small bottle of sanitizer and said, 'Here, mommy, I'm giving you this because I love you.' And I say, 'Me soon come,' and I say, 'Hurry up and take care.' Ambersley hugged me and said, 'Come to my birthday,' which would be the later this month, and her husband hugged me, and I said, 'Take care.' Marlon come and call me from outside and say, 'Mom, me soon come back,' and I tell him the same, to take care. Michelle, who is my stepdaughter, and her husband were visiting. He also died. It is so hard to know that I have to bear my last child," lamented Jones. Western parents, teachers confident in school's PEP performance despite odds. While some educators and parents have expressed their confidence in the readiness of grade 6 students sitting the curriculum-based test of the primary exit profile PEP in this parish of Westmoreland, others believe that these youngsters would have benefited from an extension granted by the Ministry of Education MOE. Scottisha Clark, the mother of a young girl attending the Howard Cook Primary School, told reporters that she has no doubt her daughter will be successful in her exams. Crediting the young girl's discipline for her belief, Clark noted that the impacts of the novel coronavirus pandemic has merely affected her child even during the troublesome months of virtual learning. "I am confident because I know she can do her work and she is very bright, so me just look forward to see she get the first choice, which is Herbert Marcy Technical High School. My daughter loves book, so wherever she goes with no electricity or internet, she always read and look over her notes," said Clark. At the Catherine Hall Primary School, parent Charmaine Wright and Tashay Watson waited patiently in the schoolyard for their children to complete the PEP exam. When reporters caught up with them, they were both confident in their children's ability, as they believed the school had invested time and resources during virtual and face-to-face learning sessions. For Catherine Hall, I think it was a little different because they had a lot more kids online than some other schools. It's our kids' class, the teacher went all out, so we didn't have any problem. I think they are ready and will do extremely well, Wright said. Watson, however, expressed concern about what she described as a high level of marginalized students unable to access virtual classes due to the lack of resources. I know that a lot of the kids are still not ready because of the pandemic, but they will do their best, I hope, she said. Principal of Barracks Road Primary School Maxine Coates Brown was filled with joy when reporters visited on Wednesday. She noted that this was due to extreme confidence in her students and work done by the teachers. We feel elated and honored because we have worked so hard during the pandemic with our students, and they are now at the final stages where they are sitting their examinations. We did a lot of afternoon classes, weekend classes, and interactive online sessions. We even worked last week during the holiday to ensure that our students were up to par and ready, said Coach Brown. We know that they are prepared and will do their very best. I have excellent teachers, supportive parents, and students who are always trying their best. Our class cohort size was strategically reduced to ensure that the students will benefit from what the teachers were doing. Each class had an average of 25 students, so our teachers were able to maneuver the grouping a bit better, the principal added. When reporters visited the Granville All-Age School, Principal Anne-Marie Brown noted that she was given strict instructions by the Ministry of Education MOE to not communicate with the press. Meanwhile, Grade 6 coordinator at Irwin Primary School, Devlin James, noted that she lacks confidence as her students were gravely affected by the implications of the ongoing pandemic. I am not as confident as I would want to be due to the novel coronavirus pandemic, but we did our best in terms of preparing our students. We tried to prepare them as best as we could based on guidelines that we were given by the ministry, so it's really up to them to translate and apply what they would have taught them, James told reporters during a visit to the school on Wednesday. Though several changes were made to the administration of the PEP components after a meeting by the National Standards Curriculum PEP Monitoring Committee early in February, James believed that these students needed additional time to prepare. But she admitted this extension may have still not been enough. An extension would have been nice, but I can understand why they would have gone ahead with the exam, because with the mental ability paper, we did get some extension, and I don't know to what degree that was profitable, said James. The grade 6 coordinator added, we find that there is an unrest with the students, and on top of trying to get them ready for the exam, we have to be dealing with disciplinary issues while we reorient them back into the system. Canada still provides most jobs for Jamaican farm workers, says Samudo. A total of 14,364 Jamaicans got overseas employment opportunities in Canada, the United States, and Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, under the Ministry of Labor and Social Security Overseas Employment Program during the 2021-2022 fiscal year. Local and Social Security Minister Carl Samuda made the disclosure during his contribution to the 2022-2023 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The minister noted that, consistent with the trend, more than 60% of these opportunities were accounted for under the Canadian program, with 8,464 of which the seasonal program accounted for 7,822 placements and the low-skill program 656. Under the United States Agricultural and Hospitality programs, 5,839 opportunities were secured, with 4,226 being agricultural jobs and 1,611 being in the hospitality sector. 61 Jamaican workers were dispatched to the United States Naval Base in Guantanamo Bay. Over the many years of its operation, the Overseas Employment Program has provided economic support for thousands of Jamaican families. Many children were able to attend school and elevate themselves and their families through the support provided by the farm program Samuda told the House. Many families were able to secure homes, maintain saving accounts, access quality health care and other social amenities through the farm work program, he added. He said too that many more Jamaicans are hopeful to achieve same benefit by participating in the program. So, in order for the program to fulfill the expectations of so many Jamaicans, we have to craft a strategy to reform and expand the program, Samuda stated. For 1,000 guests, channel the 80s at Sandals Reunion, Week 2022. It was a time trek through the 80s, and on to the decade, the Luxury Included brand was founded, and some 4,000 returning guests had a blast at their journey through Sandals Resort Reunion Week 2022 from April 18 to 22. With many guests rejoining the week-long celebrations for the first time since the novel coronavirus pandemic hit, the 16 combined resorts across the Caribbean recorded a 300% increase in returning guests compared to 2021. Created by Sandals Resorts International to honor its repeated clients and to thank them for their commitment to the brand and its destinations over the years, Sandals Selected Guest Reunion Week remains one of the most popular events of its kind on the Sandals calendar. Even throughout the week, had guests completely immersed in cultural melting pot reflective of the 80s influence on fashion, music, dance, film, and food. At Sandals Grill, repeat clients started, did the Running Man and Disco Side all the way through the night during the 80s glow in the Dark Disco Silent headphone party. Last Tuesday was a whole treat for fashion lovers, with witnesses of staff fashion, show remains of the decade of big hair, shoulder pads, dramatic accessories, acid water jeans, and ice training fabric, colors, and pattern. The 40th anniversary celebratory dinner, dubbed Old Story Time, paid homage to the Jamaican culture with banana-themed outfits, many pole influenced decor, and a Jamaican dance showcase executed masterfully by the Evolution Dance Group. Of course, the week would not have been near complete without off-property tours to historic locations such as Rhodes Hall Plantation in Hanover and witnessing the always highlighted anticipated Manager's Talent Show. According to Sandals Negril guests Timothy and Anita Hardesty, the hotel is home for them. We come every year to Sandals. This is actually our 8th trip, and it is likely coming to see our other family. We love coming to Reunion Week. We find that we get to meet a lot of the same people year after year, and that makes it much fun. This year, we chose Sandals Negril, and this is some kind of people working here. Sandals is just not your everyday resort. It is full of high quality and attention to specific details. I would invite everyone to try the couple shared. Reunion Week in Montego Bay region had more than 400 guests in attendance. And what a ball they had, putting on their dancing shoes and grooving in the signs and sounds of the 80s era. Both the flagship resort Sandals Montego Bay and the neighboring Sandals Royal Caribbean host sizzling open ceremonies featuring marching band and the glow-in-the-dark costume parties with guests dressed in theme costumes, living it up and having a grand time. Maurice and Erica, multi-repeaters guests at Sandals Montego Bay, were effusive in their praise for the week of activities. We have been having an amazing time, and Reunion Week just comes getting better and better, noted Maurice. The couple said they particularly enjoy the theme and look forward to many more such events. The celebrations at South Coast kicked off with 274 running guests and staff members joining a parade led by the Eagle Star Band and later a mixology competition with themes comprising of managers and guests. The remaining days saw to a fashion show, Jamaican theme, gala dinner, where guests experienced Jamaican culture in a pure concentrated form, and an off-property picnic excursion at the Appleton Rum Estate. The Ochoas region had a full gamut of activities to celebrate Reunion Week 2022, from the traditional beach parties, catamaran cruise mixed with the kite show, to the exploration of the Conoco Falls. Guests at Sandals Ochi Beach Resort and Sandals Royal Plantation were in for a treat. We will always ensure that our guests are experiencing a great time, hence we brought them back to the excitement of the 1980s with fashion, food, and flair. From the party vibes at the returning guests' dinner to a variety of beach party activities, our guests were kept busy in reflecting on their early years, said Campbell, loyalty and travel manager at Sandals Oche. Sandals continued to boast an impressive more than 40% repeat client base, comprising of members of the company's Sandals Selected Resort Club program that offers membership saving and exclusive recognition gifts and benefits to include free vacation for frequent Sandals visitors. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.